All right, today I think it's going to be a mixture of all the topics. It's not just life sciences or physical sciences. It's basically everything from P3 to 4. Okay, you can see some life sciences topics like, living and non-living things, animals and all. You can also see physical sciences like magnets and all. Okay? Okay, so which of the following statements is true about most reptiles? Ivan, you want to try first? Most reptiles, So which one is true about most reptiles?
B.
Very good. Okay. Now, not live in water, doesn't mean most reptiles live in water. I mean, there are some water snakes, there are like crocodiles who live in water, but there are also reptiles that don't live in water. They live on land. Okay, so in this case, it's not right. It's not true. So this one, okay, so this one is done. So they do not have legs. They do not have legs means that, like, for example, snakes don't have legs, but there are also reptiles that have legs, right? Reptiles like, for example, crocodiles and all. Okay, so in this case, this one is wrong. Okay, they give birth to their young. Okay, in this case, this is definitely wrong because most reptiles, in fact, I think should be all reptiles lay eggs. They don't give birth to their young alive. Okay, so the best one will be B because most reptiles have scales, dry scales as their outer covering, right? So this one is true. Okay, which one is true? So remember we are looking for ticks, True. Okay, next question. The table below shows how some living things can be grouped. Which one of the following is the most suitable heading for group X? Grace. Very good. Okay, your mushroom and yeast are examples of your fungi. They are not plants, so plants are out. They are also not bacteria. Okay, but of course they have similarities to non-flowering plants, which is that they reproduce by spores, but they are not non-flowering plants. Okay, Ida put a glass solid block into a container of water. At which position would the block most likely be found? Okay, at which position would the block most likely be found? It's a glass, it's solid. Yes, Ivan.
B.
B, yes. Okay, B is sinking all the way at the bottom, right? So in this case, yeah, it is most likely to be found at the bottom, okay? Okay, next one. Whose turn is it? Anybody wants to try other than Grace and Ivan? This question is quite clearly it's on light. And when we identify the aim of the experiment is to investigate whether light can pass through four sheets made of different materials, right? So this one is what we call the aim of the experiment. Oopsie. Oh, wait, hold on. Catherine is here. Let me just let her in first, Okay, there you go. Okay, the sheets were arranged in two setups, A and B as shown. The distance traveled by the light in each setup was measured and the results are shown in the graph. Okay, so which of the following correctly describes sheets P, Q, R, and S? Anyone? So I guess for this one, we really need to analyze. For setup A, if you notice the graph, you have to be able to read the graph first. For setup A, the light was only able to get to 10, which means It only traveled here. Okay. For setup B, it was able to travel up to 20. So which is here. So what does it tell us? It tells us that S definitely allows light to pass through, right? Because the light was detected on R. So S was able to allow light to pass through. What we know for sure is that P does not allow light to pass through. Okay, why? How do we know this? Because the light was only able to reach 10 centimeters, which is on object P. So P is not able to allow light to pass through. So we are not sure about Q or we are sure about R actually. R does not allow light to pass through. Right? Because R does not. But we are not sure about Q because there's no definite answer for Q. So we are not sure. So the answer is D for this. Okay? Any questions, anyone? I think someone typed in the chat. Let me have a look. Oh, someone said the answer is B. Okay. Was it for the previous question or for this? Hmm. Hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Now for this one, obviously, if you look at all the magnets, this one, okay, this one and north and south, north and south, north and south. So for these three, actually, the unlike poles will attract, right? So the question says which one will push each other away. Pushing each other away means it's a repulsion. Okay, so these two are like poles. So like poles repel, unlike poles attract. So yes, the answer is C. Very good. Okay, done. Okay, the next one, the diagram shows the growth of a young plant with two missing stages R and S. So which of the following best represents R and S? This is a question on life cycle, particularly plant life cycle. Can we have Safia to answer this? Safia, you volunteered, right?
D.
D. Okay, let's have a look at D. Yes, it's from a seed. Then the roots will appear first. This process is actually what we call germination. Okay, just a quick revision. Okay, so the roots will appear first. Then the shoots. So you can see that there are a bit of shoots coming out. Okay, so answer is D. Very good. Okay, for germination to take place, there must be three conditions needed. So let's just do a quick revision. The conditions needed will be water, oxygen, and warmth. Does it need sunlight? No, it doesn't. Okay, for seeds to germinate, they don't need sunlight because they do not have true leaves to make food yet. Okay, so they only need water, oxygen, and warmth. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this one is all the open-ended questions. Let me see. Okay. Now, before we move on to open-ended question, I think we'll play a game first. Right? I think we have enough time for today because not that many. And we're doing revision now. Okay. We'll come back to this later. We'll have a quick activity first. Okay. I'm only going to give you a break later because it's too soon already. Okay. Break will be for later. But for now, let's just play a game. Whose turn is it to choose the game? Not sure whose turn is it? Is it? Is it Safia's turn? Safia, have you chosen? I think you have not chosen, right? Okay, do you want to choose the game? Safia? No? Okay, we are going to do, okay, today we are going to do diversity because I think we did magnets, we did heat, we did light, okay? So we haven't really touched on diversity. So we're going to do revision on diversity today. Okay, Safia, you can choose the game, yeah? Let me just show it on the screen first. Okay, Safia, which game would you like? You can type in the chat if you. Okay, I would say not too bad, but maybe not too good either. Okay, 65% correct. Okay, because I thought diversity is a topic whereby it's mostly P3 topics, right? Animals and all. Okay, so maybe we'll go through the questions. I think we might need to go through the questions, okay? Okay, 65% means there are still certain concepts which you all don't know. Okay, which of these are not characteristics of living things? Has mass, volume, and takes up space. This is the characteristic of matter. Okay, but we don't really use it to describe the characteristics of living things. Okay. Which of these are not characteristics of a mammal? Can fly, because not all mammals can fly. In fact, there are only a few, like maybe the bat, the flying squirrel, you know. So even the flying squirrel is glide, it doesn't really fly. Which of these mammals lay eggs? Spiny anteater and platypus. These are the exceptions, right? Which of these are flying mammal? Bats. Which of these are sea mammals? Dolphins, seals, whales, and walruses. Which of these are not the characteristic of fish? Live in water. Not necessarily all fish live in water. It's not really a characteristic of fish. Okay, it's just the habitat they live in, yeah? Which of these fish give birth to their young? Mollies, guppies, and swordtails. Molly, guppies, and swordtails are the exception for fish that actually do not lay eggs. They actually give birth to young alive. Okay, then next one is which of these are not the characteristics of an amphibian? Live in water. Which of these are not the characteristics of a reptile? They live in rivers. All these are not the characteristics, yeah? Which of these are not the characteristic of an insect? Exoskeleton. Not all exoskeleton have not all insects have exoskeleton. Okay, which of these are not the characteristic of a bird? Have wings. Okay. How do fungi reproduce? They reproduce by spores. Fungi break down dead matter into simpler substances which act as fertilizers for the plants. This is true. Okay, because fungi it acts as a decomposer. So when it decomposes something, it will turn the dead matter or the waste materials into simpler substances that the plant can use as fertilizers. Okay. Harmful fungi are poisonous, cause food poisoning, damage leather products, and cause athletes food, which is uncomfortable and pain. Now, this is true, okay? Because if you eat some harmful mushrooms or poisonous mushrooms, that's when it can cause you food poisoning and it might damage your leather products, some of them, and some of them can even cause this disease called athlete's foot. Which of these are not the characteristics of bacteria? Bacteria do not make their own food. Okay, so this is not a characteristic of bacteria. The bacteria can be seen only under a microscope. Bacteria feed on living things, whether dead or alive. Bacteria also help in decomposition, but it does not make its own food. Which of these are not the purpose of good bacteria? Okay, the purpose of good bacteria is it can do things like fermenting our food, like cheese. Good bacteria also helps to clean up oil spill. Okay, this one I think maybe I share with you the story. Bacteria clean up oil spill. Okay, because certain bacteria, right? Okay, let me show you the story. Okay, because how does it work? Let me see.